What do you think it's going to look like for you now in the dating market as a single woman with 3 children?
Try to fuck.
And you left a man that committed to you. You had three of your children. You've left him. You're now on the dating market with 3 children. What do you think it's going to look like for you on the dating market?
The desert.
So, what's up, everybody? It's been a while. It's been a journey, to say the least, and it's life, right? And if it wasn't, then life wouldn't be life. I just wanted to make this quick reaction video. Not for the sake of entertainment, but just for the sake of dialogue and trying to enlighten one another with regards to what's going on out here. Now, from what I've been observing, there's an awakening taking place in specific relation to relationships. There has been I would say, thorough indoctrination of the genders, men and women, and it's even crossed over into cultures. Now, from what I'm seeing, it's been longer than I thought, but the information is finally starting to get out after all of the years in regards to the different perceptions that women have on men. I'm a man, so this might sound like I'm being biased, but men haven't changed for the most part. And this is a short video, but again, with a whole bunch of series that I have on file that I have to do, I'll add that to that list of series. I'll say this, right? I've done some clips on videos on my Candid Advisor channel, whereas I explain that this, and on Grand Rising Collective as well, and my way of explaining is roundabout, but whereas a majority of men aren't the typical men that are being labeled. What I mean by that basically is this: a lot of women are saying that the reason why they are in their masculine is because it's really confusing. It's because men aren't in their masculine. Men aren't supposed to be doing what they're doing, being a man. And I get it. I get it's very complex. But at the same time, they're talking about how they don't trust the man because he is, I'm not going to have no man take advantage of me. I'm not going to have no man abuse me. It's that whole essay thing that they talk about. So then the question begs to be asked, okay, well, what do you mean by masculinity? Now, I'm not in any way, shape, or form condoning abuse. No way, shape, or form. But even the men in their masculinity, where they're setting boundaries, a lot of you already know, are being, I don't want to use the word attack, but, being criticized or ostracized because they're operating in their manhood in regards to what their boundaries are and what their standards are. And they're getting attacked by women, talking about, just attacked by women, criticized, ridiculed, shame, guilt, that whole thing. And then the final part to that, as it's being revealed, is these women, I didn't say who, but these women who claim that men are dogs, but yet are sleeping with them. I'm being very gentle in how I deliver this, because this is just something that I just want to put out there for the sake of conversation and just get some insight, some feedback on. You're sleeping with the very men you claim are dogs. And then there's been studies that brought out that said the top 20% of men, women are going for the top 20% of men. So there's a whole 80% that are being overlooked. And in this day and age, in regards to the type of social media that's out there, the type of, how can I say, celebrity or affluency, as it were, a lot of these women have this, and you've heard it, maybe you heard it or not, but 666, right? 6 feet, 6-pack, abs, and 6 figures, which is based on studies unrealistic, because there's only a few percentage, or they said the top 20%, if that number is real large, are these men that fit that category, and 80% of men are chasing them. And then they wonder why, and this is where the complexity comes in, right? And then they wonder why they can't tie him down, or they end up with babies from this Chad, as they call it. And then they classify all men as that top tier man, when the reality of it is that top tier man has options, and you think you're on their level, and it just goes on and on and on and on. With regards to the rating system, which can be looked at as objective. So, I'm just going to try and break it down piece by piece, and I'm going to start, with the reaction to this video that has a woman who has 3 children from a man and decided to leave him, all because she felt like she wasn't being reciprocated. Whereas, and her argument is valid, she was there and supported him, like the whole waiting to exhale type thing, right? But I didn't hear that he cheated on her. But then again, she didn't say a lot, right? She just tried to give a summary because everyone else was chiming in. But I don't know. I don't want to. In some cases, the reality of it is that the dedication to relationships aren't there anymore, and there's some proof behind it. The dedication to relationships aren't there anymore because of this indoctrination that the grass is greener on the other side. The whole 80-20 rule. You have a man that's giving you 80%, but you're missing the 20, so you leave him to find the 20, and that's all you're going to get is 20. You're going to miss the 80. I know this personally. I'll leave it at that. So, yeah, I'm pretty much giving the video away, but I just want to do this quick clip on that to give my reaction to it and hear what you have to say. So check it out.
So I was in a relationship for 15 years with my children's father, and our relationship was I played my role and I played my position, and I supported him. I valued him for what he was in the household. Mm-hmm. I gave everything. When it came to a point where my children are getting older.
Did you get married?
No, we did not. Okay. And that was a bit of a thing because at the beginning, I didn't believe in marriage. And I kind of don't because...
So you're the one that didn't want to get married?
At the beginning. Then, so 10 years down the line, I did want to get married. So
a woman changing her mind, never.
And we can do that. It's our prerogative.
Well, it didn't work out.
And but that was my choice also because I'd have the ring easily at this point. But my point in saying that, right, very confidently, my point in saying that is the fact that the relationship, I played my lane, I played my position, I supported him. When I got to a point where, like I said, my children were getting older and I really wanted to discover who I was as a person, just as much as he was talented and he knew what his skill was and he knew what he wanted to do in this world and the legacy he wanted to leave behind, I was steadily behind him trying to figure out, who am I? What am I doing? I know I have my children. They're a great legacy, but I also I'm an individual who has my own purpose in life. When I got to a point where I wanted to discover that and I really ventured out into it, I became a children's book author. I found that it really changed the dynamics in our relationship hugely, to a point where I felt he did feel insecure. He did feel like I didn't need him anymore. And all of
Did
these...
you act like that? Did you act like you didn't need him anymore?
No, I didn't. What I started to notice is that the energy that I put into him when he was pursuing all his goals for the past 10, 15 years, that was not reciprocated. And that's where my frustration was.
And so why did you leave? Was that why?
Yeah. It really ultimately was, because I felt like I spent my whole life supporting your dreams.
So hang on, you.
So I just want to touch on that part, in particularly where she didn't leave because he cheated, right? He didn't sleep around. He didn't do any of that. She left because he wasn't reciprocating the same energy that she gave to him. And that, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But is it fair enough to just leave? Is that a reason to divorce your baby's father? Now, the conversation came up in regards to marriage, so it wasn't like they were married, so it wasn't technically a divorce, right? But after 10 years, it's common law marriage, as it were. But you have 3 children. So from what it seemed to me, and we pretty much know this, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes. We all have our flaws. Would it not have been wiser to at least work it out, communicate? All right. And somebody say, "Oh, communication. I communicate. I talk my ear off. They still don't listen." Seek counseling, right? Seek, I don't want to say coaches, but seek counseling, seek therapy, seek any of those things, marriage therapy, marriage couple, marriage counseling. You mean to tell me that couldn't have been factored in with regards to bringing 3 children in this world? And that's the reason why you left him? And then the other point that was brought up, where she didn't want to get married for the 10 years. I didn't hear any objection to him wanting to marry her, but she didn't want to get married. And if we're going to be honest, a lot of men, such as myself, we kind of, the way we work, we haven't changed that much. To a large extent, a lot of us men are still traditional. Now, I'm not talking about those chads out there. I'm not talking about those knuckleheads out there. I'm not talking about them, which seems to be a lot of women gravitate to the bad boy. And if we're going to be honest, we know that's true, and it starts in high school. Let's keep it real. All right? But I'm not talking about that segment. I'm talking about the 80% of men, for the most part, who are overlooked, blue-collar worker, even some white-collar worker. Again, that falls into the 6-figure category. But nonetheless, women that overlook these type of men because they're not aesthetically pleasing, and I get it. Okay, fine. But some are. They just don't have the money, or sometimes it's a situation where women settle down for the good guy and they mess around with the bad guy. Let's be honest. So getting back to her point, she decided to leave him, not divorce because they weren't married, and they didn't get married because she didn't want to get married. I would think, again, based on what she shared, we don't have his side, but I don't think he would be opposed to marriage, especially since she bore his children. And we as men take that very seriously. Not saying all men, but I'm saying a good portion of us that are overlooked, we take marriage seriously. That's our legacy. You decided to bear our children, to bring a child into the world. That's a huge deal with us. So for this guy who she's born 3 children with, she left him all because he wasn't reciprocating the same energy to her. Now, come on. Does that make sense? And then I know the follow-up to that, yeah, but that's just how not all women do that. A majority of men cheat. That's why a lot of studies are coming out now that's saying 70% of women file for divorce. It's number one. And if they're educated, it's 90%. I express those those statistics in another podcast that I'm on, again, Grand Rising Collective, right? So 70 to 90% of men, right, if we're talking about cheating, who are they cheating with? So it's got to be equivalent. They're not cheating with themselves. They're obviously cheating with another woman. So, and that other woman might not be single. She could be in a relationship with someone else. So there's enough blame to go around. And I think we should get out of this whole blame game thing and start getting our act together. So I just wanted to pause it right there before Sarah Garvey jumps in and shares his thoughts on it in regards to why she left. Again, she said it herself. She didn't leave him because he cheated. She left him because the energy that she put in him to help him get off the ground wasn't reciprocated. And there's another part to that I won't get into now, but I'll get into if I remember in another video clip where the roles are reversed. Women, y'all got your roles twisted. Men, this new generation of men are messed up too. I mean, it's deep. Who are they being raised by? Ask yourself that question. Who are these young men being raised by? Let's be 100 with that. But I just wanted to put pause on that just to touch on that.
You were with a man for 15 years with children, and you just decided to leave because
it wasn't okay. There's a multitude of things that obviously go into it. 15 years is a lot of baggage, right? There's other things that I will not
have to look at it as baggage. That's a lot of time and effort.
There was a lot of time and effort, and I'll never take it back. I learned some real life lessons from that relationship, honestly.
Okay, so now catch this, right? When Pearl asked her, so you left him because he didn't reciprocate the same energy. She was like, yes, that's why. So you mean to tell me, yes, say for example, because I know it's going through the head. So if those other multitude of things that she's talking about, a multitude of baggage she's talking about, included cheating, she didn't leave him for the cheating. That's kind of interesting. So you would stay with this man if he cheated. Not saying that that's what it was. She didn't get into specifics. But if part of that other baggage was cheating, so you didn't leave him for the cheating, you left him because he didn't reciprocate that same energy to you. And now the argument will probably come up, it was probably the cheating and everything else that because he didn't reciprocate the same effort into her that she did into him, that was the trigger. That's what tipped it all off. That's a hard thing to sell. That's a tough sell right there. That's a tough sell. It's a really tough sell. That's a real stretch. Because I'm sure if that question or if that situation was posed with a lot of other women and their man wasn't reciprocating in them as much as they reciprocated in, you know what I'm talking about, the reciprocation situation, I'm sure she wouldn't have left him over that. I'm sure a majority of women leave because the man is unfaithful and he's cheating with someone else. That's the trick. I mean, there's a lot of baggage in that situation too. There would have to be a lot of baggage if he's cheating in the first place. There would have to be a lot of baggage if she's cheating or if both of them are cheating. There has to be a lot of baggage in that scenario in and of itself. Right? So that's a tough sell. If yes, she didn't say it though, we don't know. We don't know if all that other baggage included him cheating, but she admitted and said, Pearl acts, that was the reason why she left, because of the reciprocation issue, not because of anything else. And now when notice the switch, Sarah Garvey brings up some points, then she brings up, there were other things too that played a role. Now it was those other things that played a role in you leaving him. But when the question was posed earlier, you said that the reason why was the reciprocation thing, and now you're saying it's messy.
But it also taught me that whoever I now get with has to understand the type of industry and what I'm doing. They have to be within my world. So
what do you think it's going to look like for you now in the dating market as a single woman with 3 children?
Try to fuck.
And you left a man that committed to you. You had three of your children. You've left him. You're now on the dating market with 3 children. What do you think it's going to look like for you on the dating market?
The desert.
It's the desert.
the desert.
What, do you think it's better out here?
Desert. There's bare liars and desert.
But that's where I think that is crazy because I think
Okay, so now you notice she had no answer for that. Keep it real. You see it for yourself. And the other woman jumps in now to, I don't know, come to her defense, I would say. Right? And, somewhat pivot, somewhat misdirect the conversation because she never answered that question. Right? And I just wanted to share that. What are your thoughts? What do you think about it? Pretty much, we got to do better. So stay tuned for more. I got some more stuff coming your way when I can.